Hello, welcome to More to Life Outdoors.
So this is an intro video we decided we would shoot for our gear series. Originally we did it as one long video, but it was over an hour long. So we decided to cut it into 4 different parts. So this is the introduction to part 2. Again, we want to make sure everybody understands we are not, don't have the most expensive gear, the lightest gear, definitely not ultralight. But the other thing, we talk about different products, different manufacturers and stuff that we utilize. Again, understand we're not being sponsored by anybody. We're not paid endorsement, and not necessarily saying this is the gear you should have. It's just the gear we have. It's what we've acquired and where we've ended up after about 20 years of hiking and backpacking. So sit back, enjoy. It's about 16 minutes. And then comment if you have any questions about the gear we're using. If you have any ideas that maybe it would be better for us, I'd be willing to hear you out. But hope you enjoy our video. Like I said, it's about 16 minutes long. And let us know what you think.
And right here behind us is the beautiful Salmon River. It's actually fall now, so but it's beautiful here. I'm sure you can hear it in the background. But enjoy the video. We'll talk at you later. So next I want to talk about these Helinox Zero chairs. And we did a couple hikes last summer, and one of them was down Loon Creek over in the Frank Church Wilderness. It was really hot. It was up in the 90s, and where we hiked was a lot of burned out forest, so there wasn't a lot of shade, so it made it for a really hot hike. And when we got over to where we were camping, it was very rocky and no trees or anything like that to sit on.
Yeah, no logs.
There was
or
no
stumps.
logs, stumps, rocks, or anything really to sit on. And and we were pretty tired and hot and just wanted to sit down and eat a meal. And so again, over the winter time, we decided to research some backpacking chairs, and we ended up buying these Helinox Zero chairs, and they're super comfortable. They're light. They're only about a little over a pound to carry. Well worth that extra pound to carry though when you get up to some place and you have nowhere to sit down at the end of the day, to sit and eat your meal, drink a cup of coffee in the morning. So they worked really well. You'll see them in our Mystery Lake video that we just released, and yeah, go check that out.
Wanted to talk about this a little bit. Again, I watched a lot of YouTube in the off season when we're not actually out packing. One of the things that I came across watching my YouTube stuff, actually, I believe the first time I saw it was Dan Becker, which shout out to Dan. I hope you're doing all right, man. I know you've had some struggles since February. Hope you're doing well. But this is called the Flextail. I believe it's like Flextail gear. It's a dual purpose, and that's one of the other things I liked about it. But this has attachments so that I can blow up our air mattresses and our pillows. And it's rechargeable, charges with a USB. We actually carry some battery packs, which we'll show you here in a minute. The other thing I love about this is when we're done blowing up everything and it gets to be evening time, it doubles as a light. And it can hang up in the center of our tent. And this is actually the lower setting. And it actually works really well. We've used it for a few trips now, and I
I really like it. And again, it's not that heavy. As far as the charge, I have not had any issues charging up both our sleep pads and both our pillows, and then using it as a light that night. And then usually the next day, then I'll plug it into one of our solar battery packs just to make sure it's charged up. Again, I've got the battery packs. I'm going to use them. I don't have to necessarily put this to riggers. Really nice though. Again, not that heavy. Again, I like that it's dual purpose. Again, it's our tent light as well as inflates our sleeping pads. Going to cooking. Again, not fancy. Definitely not the lightest. Our pot is basic MSR. I believe it's just an aluminum Teflon. Again, mostly we do, the freeze-dried prepackaged meals. We'll cover those here in a second. So really, this gets used just to boil water for our food, and then our coffee, which are coffee mugs. Again, nothing fancy. These are actually Ozarks, picked up from Walmart. Just nice. They got a little carabiner for their handle, so you can strap it to the outside of your pack if you want. You'll notice mine doesn't have a lid because my lid fell apart. But then our stove, I don't even know the official name. We call it the Pocket Rocket. It's an MSR stove. It kind of came as a kit, actually. It works really well. Haven't had any issues with it. Use the Jetboil fuel. And then, of course, for that, the one thing I did add is this nice little stand. I believe this is actually from MSR as well, but your fuel can snaps into this. Just gives you a little wider base, makes it a little more stable for cooking. Another thing we did is, again, watching YouTube and stuff. I mean, one of the things we always struggled with was when eating out of those prepackaged meals and you're trying to use your silicone utensils, that are this big, you start getting to the bottom of the bag and it gets all nasty. So again, on YouTube, somebody introduced us to these long-handled spoons, and again, these aren't fancy or anything. These were bought off Amazon. Again, this is what we've been using this year on our hikes, and it does make it a lot nicer. You can actually reach to the bottom of your bag and not get your hands all yucky. These are actually, I think, even though these weren't expensive, I bought them as a pair, so it was nice and cheap. I think these are still titanium or aluminum, so they're fairly light, but they're nice to have. Again, the fuel we use, Jetboil Power. Carry the bigger cans just because I guess cost per ounce on the fuel, it's a little cheaper this way, and like I said, we don't spend the most money in our gear, but this is one area I'll carry a little extra weight to save our per cost on I guess number of boils, because that's actually how they rate this, is number of boils. This is supposed to be enough to do 108 boils. So this is what we use. So our food, I know we actually talked about it in our Mystery Lake hike, but we do low carb. I don't use the term keto because we don't do true keto. We actually use an app called Lose It to track our macronutrients. And doing that, we try and just keep our percentages of fat, carbs, and protein in a particular alignment. To be honest with you, try and keep our carbs 6 or 7% or less. We're reaching more of a maintenance stage, so we're bringing up our protein a little bit now, but we still want to be that 65 to 70 on fat, and then the balance protein. Some days we'll do a higher protein, but these are some meals that Michelle found.
Okay, so breakfast they have the sausage scramble here, and the steak omelet with green bell peppers, and these are from Next Mile Meals. Those are they're kind of limited on what
their
they
selections
offer right now, but those are the two breakfasts. For entrees, they have coconut chicken curry, buffalo style ranch chicken.
That's actually pretty good. The flavor is pretty good on that.
Chicken and broccoli casserole.
That one's pretty good too.
Deli roast beef.
I actually haven't tried that one yet. It's a newer one. Michelle actually had that the last trip.
Italian style beef marinara. This is a new one that they just came out with, so I haven't tried it yet, but I'm anxious to do that. It's called Cajun style jambalaya. Totally my thing because I love spicy foods.
Spicy is an understatement. She's actually been asked at a restaurant if she wanted a fire extinguisher with her dinner. The best one. Beef taco.
Oh, beef taco.
That's probably my favorite. Again, I'm not a big spicy guy. This has just enough spice, but the flavor is pretty good for the beef taco. One recommendation I would give on these particular meals, and probably all meals, but what we've kind of figured out is, you know, I used to just kind of shake and loosen up everything in the pouch before adding the hot water. We've started actually kind of trying to stir it up a little bit more, especially the cheese, because if we don't seem to get that cheese mixed up ahead of time and you add that hot water, the cheese wants to ball up, which if you like cheese, it's kind of good, but I prefer it throughout my meal. So just a little heads up on that.
On this trip, we're also going to take these ReadyWise Simple Kitchen freeze-dried buttered broccoli to add some vegetables to our meal. All right, so continuing on with our food, because the food we just showed you is for our meals, and so for our snacks along the way when we're hiking, we've got a few things that we take along. One of them are the That's It fruit bars. We have apple and strawberry. There's no added sugar in these. It's a little bit higher carbs, but we packed these on our previous 2 hikes and found out, you know, having a little bit of extra carbs, even though they're pretty low because there's no sugar added to it, works out pretty well. And then we eat a lot of nuts.
Because we're a little nuts.
Like I said, I like spicy stuff, so I have chili roasted pistachios. Robert has plain and honey roasted for a little bit of extra carbs for him. He's also got some cashews here, and I've got macadamia nuts. And then I use these little snack size bags to proportion our snacks up. That way you can just grab your little snack out and not have to unpack your whole bag to get a snack out when you're on the trail. And these happen to be the Tillamook Zero sugar jerky. It's beef jerky, and it's 0 sugar, made by Tillamook. The other thing that we were looking for was something for a little bit more energy that didn't have a whole lot of sugar in it, and we came across They're called F-bombs. It's a nut butter, but there's no sugar in it. And
High fat.
High fat, no sugar. These just happen to be the salted chocolate caramel ones. They do have different ones, but these just happen to be the ones that I bought, and I did buy them off Amazon. The other thing that I have packaged, we actually did these for a different backpacking trip, but these are actually keto granolas. This one is a blueberry, and this one's chocolate, basically. And we had already pre-packaged these, but we do the keto granola. I think New Trail is the brand name on these.
So these, what we would do is we measured out by portion and then used our sealing mill machine to vacuum seal them and make them nice and small, make them easier for packing.
And then I have some coconut. There's no sugar added to these. It's just natural raw coconut. And again, this adds a little bit of fat because when you're doing a low carb diet, you need the extra fat, and that's what your body is using for energy instead of empty calorie sugar. And so that's what we use. We use fat for energy.
Real quick, if you can hear the chainsaws in the background, sorry. We're actually at our, what'd you call it? I guess our summer home. We move in here typically in the middle of May, and then we're here till the middle to end of September. But it's actually a campground because we volunteer on a gold dredge. It's an old dredge that's now a museum. So we work a few days for the dredge, and then we spend days playing. Like right now we're getting ready, like Michelle said earlier, we're actually packing up to go on a 3-day backpacking trip with some friends. But that's why we love it. We can work a few days and then go play a few days. But later, right now, to be honest with you, everything, like our trailer's a little dirty right now. We had some pretty heavy storms come through here. Wife really would like me to clean up the trailer a little bit before we actually shoot a video of our trailer. It's a little dirty from the wind and the storm, so.
All right, so back to our food, or our snacks for the trail. We also do chomps. Again, they're 0 sugar, and grass-fed beef, which I like. Robert likes just the original. Again, I like the jalapeno ones because I like spicy food. And we just picked up the salt and pepper venison ones to try. We haven't tried those yet. But we're outdoorsy hunters also, so we're looking forward to trying the venison ones. And then when we were out to dinner the other day, I came across these. They sounded good because, again, they're green chili, and there's an autumn blend chili. These are Pearson Farms beef sticks. They're beef and pork snack sticks, and I just picked them up because I thought they looked kind of good.